What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Panda here, and today I bring you another video for 7 Deadly Sins. And if the thumbnail didn't give it away, today we are talking about Red Demon, the beginner's guide, how to get into Red Demon, what kind of team to try and focus on early on, and just the best way to be free to play in Red Demon. So I want to start off with just some basic information. Red Demon is some pretty difficult content, okay? I'm not here to tell you it's easy. I'm not here to tell you there's one team that's gonna, guarantee that you're gonna clear it or that you can solo it or anything like that. What I'm here to tell you is what I am currently trying to do in order to create a Red Demon team to be able to farm my materials to limit break my units. So before I begin, you unlock Red Demon right in the beginning of Chapter 5. As soon as you get into Chapter 5, you're going to do a couple stages. You're going to do a Red Demon fight where you get to bring in an Elaine and a Bon to fight with you. It's pretty easy. Just take your normal team into it. You should be able to clear it with no problems. Once you have it unlocked, you will be able to summon more of them by doing the boss battle stages. So you have access to 6 that you, or 5 right now, I think 5 or 6, 5 that you can summon now, 6 that when Chapter 6 comes out, that you can summon per day of your own. However, you can be invited to as many as you want. So if you have 10 friends, you can do 66 of them, including your own. In one day. Obviously that's a lot of energy, so you don't need to do that, but you do need to farm them to get the horns in order to limit break your units. So it's definitely good to build a Red Demon team, especially since Red Demon at this point is pretty much our end game content until we really get things like Gray Demon and Crimson Demon and other future content. Okay, so when you first go in, you're gonna be like, whoa, Panda, what kind of thing do I want to build? Like, I don't know, what units are good here, right? Well, there's a lot of people saying a lot of different things. Some people are saying, oh, well, you should bring Blue Bon, or you should bring the Blue Slater, things like that. And both of those units are great, but there's specific units that I want to tell you about. So the first team that you're going to probably use in this area is going to be the team you see on the screen right here. This is a team that you should have built up just by playing through the game, getting to Chapter 5. The game requires you to get the first 3 units to UR level 60 in order to get through past certain parts of the game. That's the blue SR Meliodas, the red SR Bon, and the blue SSR King. It requires you to get those units built up, so I mean, why not use them to begin with, right? And then the subunit I have here is just my green my green SR Lizhawk, which is my AoE clearing unit. And I have her in my sub slot just because it increases my team CC, guarantees I get to go first, and things like that for other teams, right? Plus, she's actually not a terrible single target damage dealer, and since you already have her built up, she works out. You can defense break with her first skill, and then her ultimate does a pretty large pretty large single target damage. So it's actually, she's not a terrible unit here either. But this team right here can easily clear normal, no problems. Okay, you just have to make sure that you are doing the 2-star Petrify with your king, and you're just focusing on dealing as much damage as you can with the other units. Okay, Bon here gets a bonus to damage in the Red Demon, so he's definitely not terrible. And then Meliodas just does a lot of damage because he's Meliodas, and you have to build him up pretty high to actually to get through parts of the story. Okay, but the team that you want to go for is something a little bit different. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that team on the screen here. So you're going to actually keep the Blue King. Blue King is great. There are other units that do his role a little bit better here, like Gustav, for example, but this is a free-to-play guide, and early on, you're not going to be able to build 1.5 billion units, so this Blue King right here is just the way to go to begin with, okay? So instead of using this Bon, I'm going to recommend this lady right here. This is the Red Lizhawk, and the Red Lizhawk is really, really strong for this Red Demon because her first skill here inflicts charge damage, which is ignoring defense. Okay, the red demon has quite a bit of defense, so this allows you to do a lot of damage. Plus, if for some reason he does get his defense buff on, then your main damage dealer is not affected by that, which is very, very strong. Her second skill here removes buffs from an enemy, inflicts damage, and then also disables buffs and debuff skills for 2 turns. Now this is really, really strong because the red demon has a defense buff he puts on himself that's a stance, and so this makes it not be able to do that. And if he gets it up, you get to remove it and then prevents him from putting it on again. Now, I haven't actually had the chance to get this, but from what I've heard is if you get at least the 2-star Hawk Knight Rush here, and you get it on turn 1 and you use this on the red demon, apparently the first turn he just like won't do anything. Like he won't attack or do anything. I'm not 100% positive this is true. Like I said, I haven't actually seen it myself. I haven't been lucky enough to get the 2-star version of this on turn 1. But if you guys have done it and you're like, yeah, it totally works, just leave a comment down below, let me know so I can confirm that. But either way, this is a great skill for sure. Her ultimate here does a lot of damage. It cancels stances and inflicts damage equal to, in this case, 980% of attack. Mine is currently 5 of 6. At 6 of 6, I believe it is 1,050. I think we can see that. Yeah, it's 1,050. So I'm just one more SR Lizhawk away from being able to get this done. But the main reason why the Lizhawk, Red Lizhawk, is such a strong character is the fact that A, she's an SR, okay, which means that you can 6 of 6 her ult so easily. Okay, and it does a lot of damage. Like I said, it's already 5 of 6 for me. It'll be level 6 soon as I get my last Red Lizhawk, and she'll do a lot of damage with that ultimate. This next reason, though, is actually her unique, which we don't quite have yet, but her unique states increase basic stats by 10% at the start of the next turn if the hero doesn't take damage. Now, the main goal of Red Demon is to be able to CC the boss so he doesn't get to move. Well, if he doesn't get to move, no one's on your team is going to take damage, which means that this is going to stack forever. And the Lizhawk will just do an immense amount of damage eventually because she'll just have this 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. So after 10 turns, she's going to have 100% damage, and she's just going to destroy, especially when she's ignoring defense. Or if you have someone on your team who has an attack buff or things like that, okay? So this Red Lizhawk is amazing. Obviously, I would love to take her to UR, but I'm stuck. I don't have enough SR pendants. I'm working on that currently, but I'm very close to getting her to be able to unlock this passive. And when I unlock this passive, I'll actually be swapping to a team where she is my main damage dealer because the passive will make her better than my current team, okay? So Red Lizhawk is, I think, the best damage dealer to build because also, from what I am told by a couple of JP players that I've spoken to, she actually is useful in other raids that come later, like the Crimson Demon, who has very similar skills to the Red Demon, as well as another boss later on. And so building her is better than building Blue Bond or Blue Slater because both of them have no real uses outside of Red Demon. So Red Lizhawk is probably one of the best damage dealers for end game raid single target combat, so definitely worth investing in her by far early on. Okay, and then the third unit we're going to bring in can be a couple different things. One thing you could bring in is if you wanted to, you could bring in another damage dealer like this Blue Bond here. You could bring in this Blue Bond because he's another damage dealer, and this team could work as well, as long as your other person playing with you has another king, a damage dealer, and a support unit. If the other person does not have that team, you'll want to bring in a support unit of your own. And I recommend you bring in either this green Gilthunder or the red Arthur. Now, I don't have red Arthur, so I can't show you him, but green Gilthunder has a 60% attack buff if you get the 3-star buff. Let's pull it up here. So it's 30%, 40%, and 60% for 3 turns. So if you can get even the second one here, you get a lot of damage from this, but this third one obviously is even better. And he has a pretty strong damaging ultimate as well, which is great. Okay, so this unit is definitely great. His passive here doesn't really help you much; just increases all defense-related stats in PvP, so you don't need to worry about that. But his buff here is huge for raids. It just increases your damage by a lot, so he is not a bad unit to bring in. Now the subunit, it doesn't really matter like all that much. There's a couple different subunits that I have seen be brought in. But the one that's the most common is, I think it's the Green Cane from the coin shop. Is the best subunit that most people use. But the subunit really doesn't matter at this point. I normally will just bring in my next best unit. So I would bring in like the Red Bond probably, because he gets the bonus. And so if one of my heroes dies, then this Red Bond will come in and deal lots of damage. But I have yet to die because, again, this Blue King right here he CCs forever and you don't have any issues. Okay, so this is roughly probably the team that I would want to bring in, what I want to focus on when I come in after I do my normal run and I finish the storyline and things like that. Again, the Gilthunder can be replaced with Arthur. And if you don't want to build this Red Lizhawk, because maybe you don't want to, if you don't want to build him, like I said, you could use the Blue Bond, you could use the Blue Slater if you wanted to, but personally I think that the Red Lizhawk is the best to invest in now, because SR and SSR medals are going to be much more difficult to obtain after this first like starting period of the game, and so getting this lady right here leveled up for cheaper than SSR medals by just doing regular SR medals is a lot better on investment. Plus she works later on as well, which why again Blue Bond, Blue Slater, they don't. So I think that Red Lizhawk is the best damage dealer to invest in for sure. Now unfortunately I don't have a Red Demon to bring up to show you, plus my team, like I said, is actually not quite up to snuff yet, but I do plan on doing a Red Demon raid with some of my buddies on my Discord. When I do that, I'll record it and I'll bring you guys a Red Demon little like synopsis so you guys can actually see the fight. But the most important thing for the Red Demon is just to make sure that you CC him on the last move of the turn. Do not CC him at the beginning, because if you hit him after you CC him, the CC will break. So you need to make sure that you use the 2-star Petrify as the last move in the turn. Okay, that's probably one of the most important pieces of information to get out there, because if you don't do that, then you'll end up screwing yourself over. Okay, but guys, that's like the beginner's guide to building a team for at least building your first Red Demon team. If you guys have any questions, comments, or if you think you have a better team and you want to give me information, I'm new to the game too. This is just the team that I believe is the strongest from people I've spoken to, as well as actual testing. I really, really like this team. If you guys have anything else in mind and you'd like to let me know, leave a comment down below, join the Discord, and just have a little conversation with me. It'd be great. But anyways, guys, that is it for me today, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.